Okay, with Martin Sofiedal, Temporal Takedown is the short film from Norway, 7 minutes. I love this film. Um, when people get asked like what superpower would you want? The superpower I would want is the freezing of time. And I watch in your film and it's like, oh my God, you don't see it often, but it's like that's a superpower that I want, to freeze time.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it is a good one, even though she's sort of in the film, at least she has sort of limitations with the powers
Sure.
as well though. But that
Yeah.
was kind of like what I wanted to do, explore with the fighting as well though. So yeah.
So it's a great little film. So you wrote the script as well, right? How did you come up with
Yeah.
this idea?
Well, basically, it was basically just a concept. I actually backtracked it when I decided to make the film, that I realized I've been thinking about that concept for like 10 years or something, and it wasn't any story around it other than it's just, oh, it would be just a cool fight scene to
Mhm.
see someone with sort of like a power that could freeze time, but just for a limited amount of time, and she could just like change the way people were standing and like the trajectory of the fight while she was fighting. So it was basically that easy of a concept that I wanted to explore, and also just because I'm moving into more of these action oriented films, and I want to do like a proper feature with more like hand to hand combat styles. So this was not really like a proof of concept, but more like a proof of ability, that I really like wanted to. Okay, I want to really dive deep into like action fighting, sort of like choreography and stuff, and add some element that was new and fresh, which was in that superpower,
Yeah. And
basically.
so
Yeah.
not a proof of concept, meaning that like there's not a bigger project, but it's a proof of like what you can do as a director.
Yes, I would say so, because it's, of course, I would use this short film as a sort of like a stepping off point to show like I can do some sort of action. So I'm not just like saying here I want to do it, I can actually do it. But yeah, I don't have anything planned for like a bigger one with this sort of film in particular, at least for now.
So before this film, have you made like kind of an action kind of film like this before?
Not something like this. This was pretty elaborate, with like months of like just developing fights, and having like the actress and the stunt people just like really just working and coming up with stuff, and them filming it, bringing it back to me, and back and forth we went. But I made some action stuff before, but not in that way. I did like I had a Netflix feature a few years back, but that was more like a sci-fi comedy with like laser tags and stuff, so more like a shootout.
Yeah.
And I had some sort of like, I've had done some fighting scenes before, but that was mostly just like something we made up on the spot, which is, of course, for a lot of stunt people, that's pretty normal. But I mean, you get cool stuff, but it's cooler when you can really like dig deep into it.
Okay, so let's talk about obviously there's special effects too that you didn't post. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the fight scene because it's fantastic. And you're kind of confined in that one room. There's kind of like there's different kind of utensils there, like meaning that there's like a bike on the there's like certain things that
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
use.
yeah.
Really great production design. But talk to me about the fight scene itself and working. Did you have a stunt? I'm assuming you had a stunt coordinator on set or in prep as
Well,
well.
well, he was. We were such a tiny team,
Yeah,
so the stunt coordinator was basically part of the fight as well.
sure.
But
It
he had
happens all the
sort of
time,
like,
right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even in the big
But he
films, it
had,
happens. But the stunt coordinator is one of the players too. So yeah.
absolutely. So it wasn't like abnormal in that sense. But yeah, but he also had like his assistant with him that could like keep an eye on things, and he could like tell her to like, okay, now I'm gonna do this flip, so make sure that I don't fall on my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were it was basically the actress and the three stunt people that did that was like the big like that was the action people. Those were the people. And but what we did differently was I was really inspired like I had two fighting styles, I suppose, that I was really inspired by that we tried to sort of like merge. And I feel like we might have succeeded in that. And that was like the gritty stuff from The Raid, the Indonesian film. I don't know if you heard about that one, but
Okay. No, I haven't seen it.
uh
No. Okay.
no, no, that's but that's more like a really gritty sort of like hand-to-hand combat action film.
Okay.
And but I also like the more of the stylized versions of the Kingsman movies, if you remember
Sure.
those.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
yeah,
what kind of reminded me of watching this. The Kingsman movies. A little bit slow
yeah, yeah, yeah.
motion, kind of moving camera, right? Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun because what we did was we the whole choreography beforehand, and then we shot it like just in the gym, and we tried to shoot it as and we just figured out the shots while we were there, like in the gym, and just like figuring out and then we just filmed the whole thing with just an iPhone basically, and then we did the edit of that. So we
Oh.
basically had like sort of like a previous, what do you call it? And that was just so helpful. And also just like you can see the shots that you're still missing, or shots
Mhm.
that, oh, that didn't work as well, we should be over here instead, and something like that. And then so when we came to filming, it was basically just like, oh, so just look at the previous, and now
Yeah.
we're doing this shot, now we're doing this shot, just filling in the holes basically.
It's kind of like a physical storyboard in a sense. Like
Yeah,
a yeah.
and it was really helpful just to know what you're doing and wherever shots you need to make. But I mean, I'll applaud the DP as well, because he moved as much as the stunt people, and
Yeah.
that was kind of like what we wanted to as well, though, because um, I gravitate towards like, especially for like hand-to-hand combat action stuff, more not as much editing. Like I don't want choppy action like the Jason Bourne style, even though that's a cool thing when it works.
Yeah.
That's not what I like. I want to see how long we can hold a take. But I also don't like that big a fan of like the John Wick approach, where the camera is just almost like just observing, even though it's not cutting. It's just like it's there, just following. I like it when it's like it's part of the action, basically. It
Mhm.
moves with the characters and all that stuff. So that's what we try to do. Have like these tiny, tiny wonders, like just like,
Yeah.
okay, now we have to edit. So, okay, how long can we keep this shot? And then you, oh yeah, I have to move like this, and this, and this. Yeah.
But also making it realistic and kind of like
Yes.
grounded. It's a grounded kind of fight scene, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was sort of like the mix we were trying to go for with I always wanted to keep the groundness of it.
Yeah.
Basically also because it's important. It seems like this is still our world, because if everything else would be like fantastical, if they were like flying around on wires and stuff, then the superpower wouldn't really have that much of an impact, because then it's like, well, everything is amazing.
Yeah.
So that was sort of like also like a conceptual idea that it needed to be more grounded, so that when the supernatural or like the superpower stuff happened, then it was like, oh,
So then your lead act is it Cecile?
Cecilia, yeah,
Cecilia. So she needs to obviously have acting chops, but also know stunts as well, right? So
yes,
did you know her before
absolutely.
the film? Before you started casting?
Yes, she is my wife.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, but she is also like a really, really dedicated and established actor here in Norway. So I was
She's
never like,
fantastic. So
oh, absolutely. And also it helps that she has a black belt in Taekwondo. So
but it also helps that she like I said, like she's very realistic in terms of
hmm
fighting men, right? And fighting and winning this fight, right? And
Yes.
like she's not
Yeah, and
like
also
some
like
90-pound model, right? Like so like she's
no,
yeah, she's
no,
a
no. She. I always joke around that I would never like try to win a fight because
I was
she would
gonna
just
say
kick
who would
my
win in a
ass.
fight between the two of you? I guess
Yeah,
she would
yeah,
win.
no, yeah, definitely.
Gotcha. So how long you guys been married for? I'm just curious how long you've been married for.
It's been 2.5 years now.
Oh, wow. So it's relatively new, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
obviously when you're writing it, I'm assuming you're writing for her.
Well, it was sort of like when we're talking about weddings and stuff. I actually like decided I talked to on our wedding honeymoon. We I just like thought about this idea and just like that's how you see what kind of couple we are when I ask her on our honeymoon, like,
Yeah.
do you want to make an action film? And she's like, yeah. So yeah, that was, but it was our like common interest in action basically, and she had like we had been up until that point also tried to do other stuff with action, and it was our like collective minds being like, oh, we really want to explore this in a way that we haven't before, and really take our time with it, and not just like meet up on the day and try something, but really like, okay, let's do a deep dive into this, like watch a lot of movies and research and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, she's great. And it looks like she's got a pretty, her career is going well so far. And it's going to get, this is a great
absolutely.
showcase of her talent too,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so then, so tell me, okay, so then talk to me about you mentioned your DP, which is it's a really nicely photographed film, nicely stylized. So talk to me about kind of putting the film together and the production design, kind of where you shot it. Like it's just a really well put together film in
Well,
its
thank you.
totality.
Yeah, well, it's I actually it's kind of one of those things where things the movie gods are sort of like agreeing with you, I suppose, because I just had this like when I when I was writing just like the concept of it, and I was thinking about it would be cool to have some. I want to have like a gritty setting. I want to have like some sort of like poker table and like mechanics and or
Mhm.
something like that. And I actually just like found some sort of reference photo that I just put into the concept. But basically, when I looked back at it, it was like we basically got that, which was pretty cool. So I just like true context and everything. Just like I remember, I knew a movie guy who does like every like car stunts in Norway. And
Yeah,
then I asked him, like, he has to have like some sort of garage or something. It was just like, and he did. And then I came and we had like he worked on my feature earlier, and we connected that way. So I was just like, is it possible? He said, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that worked out well. And also, what was important, like for the design of the stuff, I suppose it's just we wanted the dark and gritty. We also like it's cool to have like different types of colors, not just like warm
yeah,
and cold, but just like, oh, let's have some green lights and everything. So we just like took off and didn't really like it's to do lighting when you don't always have to make sense in a way. You just like make sure that you just like I want it to be it's what the stunt people call the rule of cool. Just like
yeah.
if it's cool, then it wins. It doesn't
I like
always
that.
have to
Okay.
make sense.
Okay.
So that was also like the design of the lighting as well. And it was also really important that we didn't lighting up that we sort of had to move around all the time. We had to like put up one light basically all around. A lot of practicals,
Yeah.
lights that you actually see in the frame, and a big light above, but mostly just so we were able to just like move around real quickly because we knew that that would take the most time, so we had to like sort of free ourselves from the light setup.
Yeah.
But because the space was it was big but not too big, so most of the lights had a decent function. Of course, there were times we had to tweak a little bit, but yeah, but also. so with the DP and everything, we our pre-production was basically just finding that choreography and filming it, as I told you about the previous, and putting that together. And we just like agreed very much. He was like really into my references, and he also he's not he mostly works in the lighting department. I've used him on a TV series I worked on, but
Okay.
I knew he was also a DP. He was like he was so hungry to do stuff, and also it helps that he loves martial arts movies.
Yeah.
So
So it's
I was
another
using that.
example like for him to I'm assuming like he's like a gaffer, like so he could this is like a great
Yeah,
showcase for him too, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
And it was just it was just so fun to see him move around. He basically built this he just called it a shotgun rig, so it looked like a Tommy gun, like a two
Yeah.
handles. And he didn't even touch the camera because that had like we had to have like our autofocus because we didn't have like a focus pull or anything, so just like everything. But luckily like technology works.
Yeah.
So he was just like free to move around like this, and just like pointing his camera gun all over the place, which made him more like agile and able to move around really quickly. But I mean, it's it's a tough thing to get right, and I really think that that's not something all DPs can do. Like you
No.
really have to be physical and quick, and also understand the timing of stuff, which also was a thing that I learned that I didn't know about because they were like, it's basically when you do choreography for fighting, it's almost the same as when you do it for dancing. And they were like talking on set, was like, which beat are we on? Like, is it like this beat or this beat? I was just like, what are you talking about beats? And it
Mhm.
makes sense because if you're off beat, you end up like punching someone in the face, because some people have to like, okay, we're on this, so they know when they can dodge stuff to make
Yeah.
it more visceral. Like, so yeah,
So the
that was
location itself, though, like it's like you got some really great touches, and even in the back scene, you got the Volkswagen buggy in the back, and it looks like a real. It's a real mechanic shop. Is it a real shop?
yeah, we it is a real shop, and that was the fun part because it's always nice when you find a location that you almost don't have to dress up. I mean, 90% of the stuff was already there.
That's amazing. Yeah,
So we
because it
just
feels
like
so
added
like authentic, you know? Yeah,
we just added like the table and the stuff in the middle, and most of if they're like we have this fun gag where the same guy falls on two different car seats because he's kicked there. And that was sort of like just something we found in the same like garage, but like on another level. But we just
hmm
like dressed it up. But most of the work was done just by the lighting department, just adding to the details that were there and just making the atmosphere of it feel good. And also, of course, we just pumped in Ace all the time to make
yeah.
that
All
look
right,
even
so
more
then
crisp.
you're also when you're shooting the film, you're also thinking like I call it like thinking fourth dimensionally, meaning that you know you're going to add special effects to
Mm-hmm.
certain scenes, right? So if you did you
Yes.
have if you had experience directing kind of films like that or TV shows like that, where like you're knowing that okay, this scene's gonna have the the digit already on the face. It's a great shot of the face. It's an amazing shot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
thank you. It's like the Netflix feature I mentioned had a lot of that.
yeah,
A lot of like facial VFX, and also like huge alien creature and a UFO and explosions and stuff. So even though that was like high end, more like a company did it, this was more like me and my editor, who has a lot of most everything was done like in After Effects basically. So
yeah,
but yeah, but it's also fun to do like gags where you sort of like mix them up. So there's this part when she freezes the chair, and it like it's supposed to be suspended in midair. That was basically the oldest trick in the book. It was just hanging by fishing wire,
yeah,
and we just moved around and just like added effects to it, and then
yeah.
just like it sells it basically. So it's always funny to have like sort of those practical stuff in there to and just enhance them, I suppose.
So you like, cause you like, you've done like features, you've done like TV show you worked on. And so you just wanted to do this film kind of like the showcase. Is it more like, I know you want to do it because it's a cool film, but you just want to show like I can direct these films as well?
Yes, basically, it's
Yeah.
always nice to. I always love to do these tiny films for myself, just because I wanted always want to grow as a filmmaker.
And
And I
you
mean,
have total
act.
freedom, I guess, too, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. No one can tell you. Like it's. I always joke around when it's when people ask about like, so how long are we gonna like, how long are the days or how long did you shoot for, and just like until we were finished
Yeah.
basically. So that's the freedom of it. But yeah, this film in particular, as I said earlier, says I like ambitions to do like a long form, like a feature with this sort of action. Then I also like, it's always nicer to know for myself, even not only just to have others say yes to me, but also to myself. I can see that, oh, I can actually do this. So that was the main challenge of this, and just like, okay, so how do we make it cool? How can I put my little thing on it? And yeah, so that was basically why we did it. And it's always cool to do action stuff.
Yeah,
So
totally
yeah.
cool. All right, so to finish this off, I'm very curious about your career because you got your break. I guess maybe you could prove me out. You can say otherwise, but you got your break making a fan film, right? Like 11 years ago, and you did the PlayStation fan film, right? And that
Yeah, yeah,
got you a lot of
the
attention, right?
got a lot of attention out in the world, at least. And it's sort of like Kickstarter. I made it around the same time I sort of started like properly directing, like for commercials and stuff. So,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's sort of like, if I don't really know if like producers and stuff watched that film and gave me a job because of it in Norway, but it was a big thing regardless. Um, and it also sort of like was a good stepping stone for me for to get contacts like outside of the country.
yeah,
So definitely. So that was just like been doing. I think I started like in 2012 or something. When I started like, and that was me doing living off of basically commercials for a long time. But I always knew that I wanted to do like more drama stuff because I always did like these short films on the side all the time, and uh, and then I did decided to do my first feature, just crowdfunding and all that stuff. I just made a treasure hunter movie in Mallorca in Spain, this tiny island. We shot back, and that's like 10, 11 years ago now. So, and that was sort of like kicked off my more like trajectory towards like drama and
gotcha.
stuff. And that one got me the Netflix
And
feature,
that
which
you
got me
gotcha
a
because you proved that you could direct a feature film, right?
yes, yes.
Gotcha. So would you recommend like young filmmakers like to do a fan film?
Oh, absolutely. I would just recommend. I always tell people just like, and it's the most cliche advice ever, but always just do. If you have something you want to do, just do it. But I think what I always want to add to that is a lot of people I think have too big like ambitions too early.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
sort of stop themselves because their ideas are so big, and there's like they have to wait because I have to have this big idea done. I always like I sort of like begin at least from the start, but also even with this movie is like, what do I have? Like I always start with that, like what is a cool location? Where do I get this location? Do I know people?
yeah,
And because that filmmaking is so hard regardless how you do it, it's just like, just don't make it harder than it needs to be. It's like
yeah,
it's going to be hard at some point, so just
yeah,
like remove all the things that's hard as much as you can before you even begin, and that's the greatest thing. And also just like don't be so precious about it. Just like if you have two actor friends and you know one location that's cool, just like, oh, come just have an idea that's fun and shoot it. And don't think it's going to be the most awesome thing ever.
Mhm.
Just do it because it's fun. And that's yeah, that's what I've been doing all the time, just like growing with that.
Yeah, that's
And
really good
yeah.
advice because it's like you're right. Because some people get stuck on an idea and they're like, I got to
Hmm.
shoot this film and it's my idea, my project. And then there's so
Yeah,
many moving parts, like in terms of finding the best location, and then you don't want to compromise it, so then you end up doing nothing, right, for like 2 years, right?
definitely. I've seen so many filmmakers just like being stuck there.
Yeah,
They don't evolve, they don't get anywhere because they're like just like waiting for that one moment of like
yeah.
kismet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then but then like this film's great. Like it's a really like it's like a no-brainer acceptance for film festivals, like wherever it is for someone on the perch where I sit in, and basically like just well done. And but you're kind of modest about it because it's like you're just saying like, yeah, it's something that I want to do. It showcases my talent, my wife's talent, the DP's talent, but there's obviously a bigger story here. You kind of end it on a like that could to be continued as
Oh
well,
yeah,
right?
that was the funny. I can sort of end with that if you wanted to, but that was a fun little. I always like wanted to end it on sort of like cliffhanger if you want to call it that, but it's
Yeah.
also was fun because uh, I wrote in that she was gonna have like a nosebleed, and then she like realized, oh, I have a nosebleed. Then she faints, which is what happens. But when we were filming that part realize, well, she's been in a fight and she's already pretty bloody. So
Yeah.
a nosebleed doesn't really like feel like anything because she's already pretty
Yeah,
bloody.
she's
So
already
what is
got
that?
beat up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So what is this thing? This is nothing. So and then I
yeah,
was like, as we were doing, I was like, I bought this like what do you call it? Like bakery call it like you put on like baking goods and stuff like you
yeah,
like colors. I first made the blood, and then we realized that doesn't really add anything. And then I was like,
yeah,
what if it's blue? We were like, ooh, that's
yeah,
exciting. And all of a sudden, the whole like, what is this girl? What is her power? What even is she an alien? What is she? And we were like, hey, now it's getting even more exciting. But yeah, it's fun to do one of those things. And I would, if someone watches it and just say, "Hey, I want to make that movie," and I'm not gonna stop them. Just I think it's more expensive, so I'm not gonna like jump on it too quickly.
yeah,
But if someone says like, "Hey, well, let's develop this into something more," and they have like the backing for it, I would be, oh, absolutely, let's go.
yeah. It's pretty. And it's great, and like I love the realism too, where like she's exhausted after a fight,
Hmm.
like she's
Hmm.
sweating, she's like, that's realistic. Like you watch these action movies, like Tom Cruise, like gets in a 10-minute
Yeah,
fight, and he's like, oh my God, all right, I got to move on to the
yeah,
next
yeah.
thing. Like you're gonna be
He hardly
emotionally,
breathes.
physically drained, right? No matter how great
Hmm.
shape you're in, you're gonna be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And also like when the adrenaline runs off, especially, it's just like you're just like you're there, but it's just like when that goes, you're like, oh,
Yeah. And then you're gonna
like a
feel the
sponge.
pain, right? It's sort of like doing
Yeah, yeah,
like playing a sport where like you don't feel the pain until after it's done, right? So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, great film. I think obviously you're on your way already, but I'm assuming you want to make an action film, like an action feature film. That's your next project, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm knee deep in writing the screenplay right now,
Okay,
so
gotcha. All right,
it's
you're knee
pretty
deep in
fun.
writing,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're still obviously getting gigs. You're from your agent and
Oh
stuff like
yeah,
that. You're always working,
absolutely.
right? And
Yeah,
same with your wife. You're working artists in Norway.
absolutely. We are pretty blessed at the moment. Yeah,
That's great. All right, let's talk soon when you make your next film. I'd love to see it.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me.